Hello everyone, welcome back to Pabbly. In this video, we're going to understand how to add Elementor form response in different Monday.com group. So I am an owner of a business and I'm recently hiring new office staff members in my company, and to collect the data of all the applicants who want to apply for all different job positions, I have created a form with the help of Elementor. So my objective is that whenever a new form submission is going to be done by any of my applicants with the help of Elementor, automatically I want to create a record of the response in my Monday.com account but in different groups. For that, what we have done is we have simply created an automation between Elementor and Monday.com with the help of Pabbly Connect. Pabbly Connect runs on two concepts, that is trigger and action. In this process, my trigger application is going to be Elementor and my action application is going to be Monday.com. So if you want to learn how to do this amazing automation, then let me take you all to my screen. In this video, we're going to learn how to add Elementor form response in different Monday.com group. So I am an owner of a business and I'm recently hiring few people for my office staff. And to collect the details of all my applicants who wants to apply for the job positions, I have created a form with the help of Elementor. So my objective is that as soon as a new form submission is going to be done by any of my applicants with the help of Elementor, automatically I want to create the record of the form submission in my Monday.com different groups. For that, what we are going to do is we're going to simply create an automation between Elementor and Monday.com with the help of Pabbly Connect. On the screen, you can see the website of Pabbly Connect, that is pabbly.com/connect. After browsing this website, we need to sign into our Pabbly Connect account. But if you're a new user, you can sign up for free and get 100 free tasks every month. So as I'm an existing user, I'm going to sign into my Pabbly Connect account. After signing in, you can see the All Pabbly Apps window in front of you, in which you can see the 5 applications of Pabbly, from which we are going to select Pabbly Connect by clicking on Access Now. Then Pabbly Connect's dashboard is going to appear in front of you. In order to start an automation process in Pabbly Connect, we need to create a workflow. For that, click on this top right corner button right over here that says Create Workflow. Then a new dialog box is going to appear which is asking for a workflow name. So I'm going to give a name to my workflow as Add Elementor Form Response in Different Monday.com groups. So this is the name that I want to give to my workflow. Next over here, it is asking for us to select a folder. On the left side of my screen, you can see I've created multiple folders in my Pabbly Connect account, from which I'm going to select a specific folder in which I want to save this workflow in. For that, click on this drop down arrow. So these are the folders from which I'm going to select Elementor Automations as the folder I want to save this workflow in. After giving a name to a workflow and selecting the folder, let's click on Create in order to create a workflow. A workflow is created in the name of Add Elementor Form Response in Different Monday.com group, and there are two windows in front of you. One over here says Trigger, other says Action. Trigger and Action are the two most important steps of our automation process because our process depends on these two concepts. Over here, Trigger says when this happens and Action says do this. That means our action is a response towards our trigger. In an automation process, there can be only one trigger step but multiple action steps. Firstly, what we're going to do is we're going to set up our trigger step. For that, click on this arrow right over here, and for the trigger application over here, we are going to be selecting it as Elementor. So we're going to select our trigger application as Elementor, and for the trigger event, we are going to select it as new form submission, as our objective is that whenever a new form submission is going to be done by any of my applicants with the help of Elementor, automatically Pabbly Connect should capture the response. And to collect Elementor to Pabbly Connect, over here Pabbly Connect has provided us with a webhook URL. With the help of this unique webhook URL, we are going to connect Elementor to Pabbly Connect by following the steps given here below. Firstly, we need to copy this URL from here. After copying the URL from here, what we have to do is we have to open our form that we have created with the help of Elementor. As you can see, that this is the form that I've created with the help of Elementor, as you can see right over here. And now what we're going to do is we're going to connect this form to Pabbly Connect. So I am an owner of an educational network, and this is the form that I've created with the help of Elementor, so that whenever any of the applicants are going to apply for the job positions, automatically the record of the form submission should be created in my Monday.com account. Okay, so this is the form that I've created right over, and for the positions, that is driver and security guard, these are two job positions that I've opened this form right over here for. And now what we're going to do is we're going to connect this form to Pabbly Connect, so that whenever a new response is going to be captured or whenever a new form submission is going to be done by any of my applicants, automatically Pabbly Connect is going to capture the response. So these are the options from the left side of our screen, on which we have to click on webhooks right over here. And as soon as we're going to click on webhooks right over here, it is asking for a webhook URL. So we're going to paste the webhook URL that Pabbly Connect has provided us. After pasting the webhook URL over here, it says update. We're going to click on it. Okay, as over here the update is done, we are going to go back to our edit page of this form right over here. So this is the edit page right over here. Over here it says update. We're going to click on update right over here, okay? As over here you can see page is updated. Now I'm going to open my workflow. I'm going to scroll down and over here it says waiting for webhook response. As we successfully added the webhook to the form that we have created with the help of Elementor. So now what we are going to do is we are going to do a test submission of the form that we have created with the help of Elementor, and we're going to check whether Pabbly Connect captures the response of that test form submission or not. For that, how we're going to do that? For that, we have to open the form you have created with the help of Elementor. So this is the form right over here. This is the edit page of the form right over here, and over here you can see a link is provided. This is the link of the form that we have created. If you're going to open this link in a new tab right over here, this is the form that I've created with the help of Elementor right over here, okay? And if you're going to fill the details in this form and submit it, the test submission is going to be done. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a test submission, okay? Firstly, over here it is asking for the name. For the name over here, I'm going to write it as test demo, okay? Next, it is asking for the email. For the email over here, I'm going to write it as testdemo@pabblytuts.com. For the phone number over here, I'm going to write in a dummy mobile number. Next, it is asking for the qualification, educational qualification. For that, I'm going to select it as undergraduate, okay? And for the job position right away, we're going to select it as security guard, let's suppose, okay? So after filling all the details, we're going to click on submit to do a test submission. As you can see over it says your submission was successful. That means we successfully done the test submission right away with the help of this form. So now I'm going to open my workflow that I've created with the help of Elementor, and I'm going to check whether Pabbly Connect has captured the response of this test submission right over here or not. For that, I'm going to open my workflow that I've created. I'm going to scroll down, and yes, as you can see right over here, a new response is captured in our Pabbly Connect. If you're going to tally the response for the name as test demo, for the phone number, dummy mobile number, email as testdemo@pabblytuts.com, for the educational qualification as undergraduate, and for the applied for as security guard right over here. So this means that we successfully connected Elementor to Pabbly Connect and our trigger setup is done. After setting up our trigger step, we need to set up our action step. For that, click on this arrow right over here, and as our objective is that whenever a new form submission is going to be done with the help of Elementor, automatically the record of that form submission should be created in different groups in our monday.com account. So this is my monday.com account right over here, and I've created two groups over here. You can see first group is job position as driver, second group is job position as a security guard. I want that whenever any of the applicants are going to apply either for the driver or the security guard, the response of both of the form submission should be separated in these two groups right over here. So for that, what we are going to do is over here for the action application, we are going to select it as router by Pabbly. With the help of router by Pabbly, we are going to conditionally run this workflow right over here, okay? And for the action event, we're going to select it as conditionally run right over here, and then we're going to click on connect right over here. As you can see over here, after clicking on connect over here, you can see the route 1 and the route 2 is provided right over here. So now what we are going to do is we are going to set up two different routes right over here so that we can enter the data, the response that we have received with the help of Elementor in different groups in our monday.com account. So we are going to set up these routes right over here. For setting up the first route, we have to click on set filter and action steps right over here. As we're going to do that over here, firstly we need to set up a filter. How we're going to set up a filter? As I want that whenever a new form submission is going to be done by any of my applicants, on the basis of the job position, the two different groups data should be maintained. So what we are going to do is we're going to set up a filter first, and our objective is that as in our monday.com account, if anyone applies for the security guard job position right away, the data should be transferred in this group right over here. Whereas if someone applies for the driver's position right away, the record of the driver's position should be right over here. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up a filter for the route 1 right over here, and we're going to select the label over here as the position that the applicant has applied for, that is the security guard. That means when the label that is applied for is going to be equal to security guard, then only this workflow should continue, then only this route 1 should be processed, okay? So our label, we are going to select it as applied for, filter type as equal to, value as security guard. That means when the applied for is going to be equal to security guard, then only this route 1 is going to work, okay? After that, we're going to click on save and send test request. As soon as you're going to do that, over here response is going to be received, and for the message over here it says the condition is true, the status is success right over here, okay? That means the condition that we have applied for this filter is right over here true. Now for the action application, we're going to add another action step by click on this plus button, and as we want that whenever anyone applies for the security guard position, automatically in our monday.com a record of that person should be created in this group right over here, that is job position as security guard. So what we are going to do is for the action application over here, we are going to select it as monday.com. we're going to select our action application as monday.com, and for the action event, we're going to select it as create item, and then we're going to click on connect. In order to connect monday.com to Pabbly Connect, a new window is going to appear on which click on add new connection, but if you want, you can select the existing connection. After that, over here it is asking for the token. How are we going to have the access of the token? For that, follow the steps given here below. Firstly, we need to log into our monday.com account. As you can see right over here, this is my monday.com account, and we're going to have the access of the token from this account right over here. We have to click on this profile button. As soon as we're going to do that, over here it says administration. We're going to click on administration right over here. From the left side of our screen, you can see there are multiple options from which you have to click on connections right over here. As soon as we're going to do that, over here it says API. We're going to click on it, and over here API key, personal API key is provided. We're going to copy this key from here and we're going to paste the key right over here, and then we're going to click on save right over here. As you can see that over here, monday.com is successfully connected to Pabbly Connect. Firstly, over here it is asking for us to select a board ID. For the board ID over here, we are going to select it as PZA Education Network, because this is the board ID that I've created. So for the board ID, I'm going to over here select it as PCA Education Network. As over here for the filter, we have applied it for the security guard. For the group over here, we're going to select it as job position as security guard. So I want that whenever any of the applicants is going to apply for the job position for the security guard, then the response of that applicant should be entered in this group right over here. Okay, so that is why for the group name I've selected as job position as security guard. Over here it is asking for the item name. Over here in the example you've received that how we have to write the item name. If you want, you can have your item name right away as per your requirement. I'm going to copy this example, that is newly created item, from here, and I'm going to paste the item right over here. Okay, next over here it is asking for the name of the applicant. For the name of the applicant over here, what we're going to do is we are going to map the data. Mapping means inserting data from the previous step, so we are going to insert the data from the previous step of this workflow right over here. And how we're going to do that? For that, as soon as you click on this field right over here, you can see these were the previous step of this automation workflow, and if you're going to click on this arrow right away, this was the response that was captured in our previous step. As over here it is asking for the name, we're going to map the data for the name right over here. As I map the data, what happens is the data has now become dynamic. That means whenever a new response is going to be captured in our previous step, automatically in place of this map data, the new data is going to be updated. Similarly, for the full name, we're going to map the data of the full name right over here. Similarly, for the email, we're going to map the data again. We're going to map the data for the phone number right over here. As well as for the education right over here, we're going to map the data. And lastly, for the applied for, we're going to map the data of the job, that of the response that we have received right over here. After filling all the details, we're going to click on save and send test request. As soon as you get to do that, over here response is received, and over here you can see the data created item ID is also received. This is a positive response right over here. So if I'm going to take you back to the group that I've created in a monday.com account, you can see over here record is created for the applicant who have applied for the security guard position right over here. So this means that we successfully created a record of the position for security guard applicants right over here. Now similarly, what we are going to do is, I'm going to click on close first right away. Now similarly, we're going to set up our second route right over here for the applicants who are going to apply for the position of the driver right over here. Okay, so firstly I'm going to give a name to my route 1 right over here. I'm going to rename this group, and I'm going to give a name to my route 1 as job position / security guard. So this is the name that I want to give to my route 1 right over here. So I'm going to update this. Okay, now what we are going to do is we're going to clone this route right over here, the route 1 that we have created, and we're going to set up our route. So it will make the process very easier, as we do not need to do many steps again. So we're going to simply clone this route by click on clone right over here. I'm going to clone it. As we have cloned it, now we're going to rename this group first right over here. Okay, I will give the route 2 name as, so this is my route 2 name, that is job position, that is driver. I'm going to update this name right over here, and I'm going to delete this right over here. Okay, now what we are going to do is we're going to set up our second route by click on set filter and action steps right over here. Now as you can see, this is the route that we have already created in our first step right over here. Now what we are going to do is, now as we want that whenever the applied for label is equal to driver right over here, then only this workflow should continue. So now what we are going to do is, for the value right over here, we're going to write it as driver. Okay, when the selected label is equal to driver, then only this second route should work. So I'm going to click on save and send test request after entering the value as driver right over here. And as over here for the message over here, it says condition is false, because over here for the applied for is equal to security guard, but we are applying this filter for the value of our driver. That's why the message is coming as condition is false. But whenever the applied for is equal to driver, then only this condition is going to be true. Okay, so do not worry if you're going to receive a status as error. This means that the filter is applied successfully right over here. Okay, next over here it is asking for the action step, and now what we want is that as soon as any applicants are going to apply for the position of the driver right over here, and we want to create a record in this group right over here, what we are going to do is simply over for the group name, we are going to select as job position as driver, because now we want to create a record for the position of the driver right over here in our another group. Okay, and I'm not going to change any field right over here, and simply after that I'm not going to click on save and set test request, because as this applicator have applied for the position of the security guard, so it will be wrong if I'm going to create a record of the security guard in my driver group right over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply click on the save button right over here. Over here says the data is saved successfully, so this means that we successfully added our route to right over here. Now we're going to check whether these both routes that we have applied in this workflow right over here is working successfully or not. For that, what we are going to do is we are going to do test submissions of the form that we have created with the help of Elementor. Okay, so firstly I'm going to open my form that I've created with the help of Elementor. As you can see, this is the form that I've created, and now we're going to do a test submission of this form right over here. We're going to fill in all the details right over here. For the name as smart user, email as smartuser@pabblytunes.com, for the phone number, dummy mobile number, educational qualification as 12th, and for the applied for as driver. Now I'm going to click on submit to do a test submission. As you can see over, it says your submission was successful. So now I'm going to open my mundane.com account, and I'm going to check whether in another group this response right over here is captured or not. For that, I'm going to open my mundane.com account, and yes, as you can see right over here, the new applicant is created in a new group, that is job position as driver. As you can see over for the applied to over here is driver right over here. So this means that this fully created an automation between Elementor and mundane.com with the help of Pabbly Connect. So now to sum up till now what we have done, I am an owner of a business and I'm hiring few people for my office staff, and I've created a form with the help of Elementor in order to collect the data of my applicants with the help of this form submission. So my objective is that as soon as the new form submission is going to be done with the help of Elementor by any of my applicants for different job positions that I've opened the hiring for, automatically the response of the form submission should be added in my mundane.com different groups that I've created. For that, what I've done is I've simply created an automation between Elementor and mundane.com with the help of Pabbly Connect, and this is how we create this amazing automation. So if you like this video, please do subscribe to our channel, hit on the like button, comment on below if you have any questions or doubts, and please share this video. Not just with these applications, you can create automation with the help of Pabbly Connect between multiple applications. If you have any doubts, you can send us email on support@pabbly.com. If you have any queries, you can ask your queries on forum.pabbly.com. If you have any queries regarding the pricing of Pabbly Connect, then you can check out this link. If you like this video, please subscribe to our channel, hit on the like button, comment down below if you have any questions and doubts, and please share this video, and thank you for watching.